Start the recording. Perfect. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I'm hoping that everyone is getting a little taste of spring with daylight savings and the weather hopefully getting better in your area. If not, I really hope it comes soon for you. Today, we are going to talk about how experience passports are revolutionizing food and beverage association marketing. I am joined by two wonderful humans. Anna and Adam are here, and they're going to tell you how they use Bandwango in their associations. My name is Erin. I am the Director of Marketing for Bandwango. Again, thank you for joining our March webinar. We love having you all every month join these, so super fun for us. Please feel free to add any questions that you have throughout the presentations into the chat or Q&A. We will get to those at the end, so we are always happy to have the more questions, the better. So we're going to jump into things here. Again, any questions go in there. We will have the recording sent to you all after, and then also on the Bandwango website, so you'll be able to access that later as well. So jumping into what is Bandwango? We have a few new faces here, so I want to just start out by explaining what this crazy company is. Bandwango is a technology to help connect your community with local businesses through curated experiences. So we help you all build experience passports that get those community members, those locals, those visitors in your area into local businesses. These passports can be paid tasting passes, paid attractions passes, gamified check-in challenges, savings passports. There's an array of different passports that you can build through us. We are always happy to brainstorm with what those can be. On the right, you will see just a few of our amazing partners. We have over 350 clients right now. On the right, these are just some of the food and beverage associations that we work with. So thanks to Adam, we have about 7 beef associations that we work with now. Texas, Nebraska, Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh, I'm going to miss a bunch of them, but we are so excited about all of these beef associations. And then Anna with Virginia Wine, we have the American Cider Association, Woodinville Wine Country, Oklahoma Craft Beer, Tennessee Wines, just to name a few. So you can always check out what passes these associations are building on our website. It's bandwango.com/clients to get to those passes. But really, we're going to focus on Virginia Wine and Nebraska Beef today. So these two have created amazing, successful passes, getting those community members out and about to those wineries and those restaurants that are serving up great Nebraska beef. So the Virginia Wine Gold Medal Wine Trail, I'm not going to go too in-depth with this because Anna's going to take it over and tell us all about it. But it first launched in March 2021. And it features, I think, 66 wineries. It is a gamified check-in challenge. So getting those prizes, encouraging people to go out and try local wineries. And then the Nebraska Beef Passport launched April 2022. Take a trip through the good life and enjoy some outstanding beef while earning the chance to win prizes. So again, another gamified challenge here. So in regards to Bandwango, always happy to answer questions. You can put those into the chat and Q&A. You can also reach out to me in my email or phone. Always available to you, but we will hit questions at the end. So, Anna, you want to take it over? I will toggle your presentation on now.
Great. Thanks, Erin. As Erin said, I'm Anna. I'm a marketing manager for the Virginia Wine Board Marketing Office, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about our Gold Medal Wine Trail. As Erin mentioned, it launched in 2021, and we have refreshed the pass twice now. And so just 2 weeks ago, we launched our third pass. And I really cannot emphasize enough the impact that partnering with Bandwango and using this platform has had on our marketing efforts. It has been so valuable to our winery partners and to our marketing efforts. And I'm excited to dive in. Before I get too far into the trail, I wanted to just touch really quickly on who we are and what we do. So the Virginia Wine Board Marketing Office provides branding and marketing on behalf of the entire Virginia wine industry. We have over 320 licensed farm wineries that are licensed through Virginia ABC in the state, and we represent all of them. So we are not technically membership based. We just are representing all licensed farm wineries, and that includes cideries and meaderies as well. So we have a really big crew of people that we're working with, and we're tasked with marketing the industry as a whole and representing all of them, which can be a challenge at times because consumers always want to know the best wineries to go to or a suggested itinerary. And we try and do it in a fair and equal way, which I'm sure many of you can relate to. Our funding comes from the Virginia Wine Board, and their funds come from excise taxes on Virginia wine sales. So a portion of sales come back to the wine board, and they then distribute the funds for marketing and research and education. And so that's where we come in. So to look a little bit more at our partnership with Bandwango, we first started this partnership in 2021, and it really addressed an opportunity for us to highlight and select some of the best producers in the state. So yearly in the state of Virginia, there is something called the Virginia Governor's Cup competition. It is run by the Wineries Association, and any wine that's made with 100% Virginia fruit or Virginia apples can enter to make Virginia wine and cider. And so the judging, they pick the top wineries, and anyone with a gold medal is featured on our trail. So the first pass that launched in 2001 had the 2021 winners, and then we've just updated it each year with the new winners. So we've been around 50 to 66 this year. And some of those wineries change out, but a lot of them have stayed the same. So we've really started to build a base of knowledge among our wineries and our fans on what this pass is. But some of the biggest benefits for us for partnering with Bandwango have been building that brand awareness, not only for the Virginia wine brand, but also this competition. Prior to using Bandwango, we found that the competition and the results weren't very approachable for the average consumer. There was no way for them to engage with the winners and taste these wines. So it's been huge there, but we've also had a really great opportunity to cross-promote other campaigns that we're doing with Bandwango. So it's given us a way to tie in our year-long efforts with these really highly engaged consumers. But I think maybe one of my favorite parts of the program has been providing tangible statistics to our participating wineries. So as part of our marketing efforts, we have a website where every winery can have a profile listing. They're included in a printed map for the state and different marketing materials we use year round. And we've always been able to share website visits and page views and those types of things. But until using Bandwango, we never had a way to show them exactly how many customers we were sending to their businesses. And this kind of revolutionized that for us a little bit. So we've been able to say, and we send quarterly reports to all the participants that X amount of visitors have checked in. This is their general demographics, and these are what we're seeing. And it has been huge to us. We still get feedback consistently from wineries that this is one of the most impactful programs we've ever done. And so going into year 3, we're excited to build on that. But just to show you guys a little bit more about our trail, these are some stats. I'm comparing 2021 and 2022 since those were 2 full trail years, and I'll just comment a little bit on what we're doing this year as well. But so the first stat I wanted to show you guys is signups. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that in 2021, we had some pretty significant signups. It kind of blew all of our expectations, and we had over 3,000 people sign up for our trail. And that was in thanks part to a couple big media hits with Forbes, Food and Wine, Fox. They all covered this trail launch, and we got a lot of buzz around it. And so that was really exciting. It was great for brand awareness. It was great just to build excitement around the trail. But what we found was a lot of those users were out of state and maybe didn't activate their pass. So you'll see in that second column that while we had over 3,000 signups, near about 1,000 people actually used their pass, which was still great. We had over 4,000 check-ins, almost 5,000 redemptions. So that's a check-in and using a code of some sort. So we were thrilled the first year. But as we went into the trail last year, we decided to shift that focus a little bit to engaging the users more. So you'll see that we had almost 2,000 less signups, but if you're just looking at one metric might be kind of a flag. But actually what ended up happening were the 1,300 people that signed up last year, almost 700 of them activated their passes. And between those 700 people, we saw over 4,000 check-ins and closer to 5,000 redemptions. So we exceeded our 2021 numbers with less people. So that was a 157% increase in our average redemptions, which we were really excited about. And so as we go into 2023, we're kind of looking for the best of both worlds. And so we did a little bit more this year on the front end to try and get people to sign up. And so we had a pre-sign up form, and we had almost 400 people sign up before the trail even launched because they were looking out for it. And we've started to build some loyalty around this pass. we have some big fans that ask us every year when it's coming, and they hit as many stops as they can, which is fantastic. But so the trail launched tomorrow. We'll hit our 2-week mark, and we have already 1,000 signups. So we're just 300 behind where we were at the end of last year, and this will run until December. We have 175 passes currently activated, and those people have already checked in 450 times. And the reason I'm sharing all these numbers is what I was saying on the last slide. Being able to tell our wineries that this many people are coming and this much interest is there is really, really valuable to us to show the value of our marketing efforts. So just a kind of quick overview of what types of marketing we do with the pass. We really push it in a lot of traditional ways across social media and our email marketing. We see lots of great feedback through sending it through our email newsletters and our already subscribed consumers. We found that this trail is really interesting to people that are already interested in Virginia wine, even though we are capturing new audiences as well. This is really for our dedicated wine lovers. And something that's really helped us and we've seen the most engagement with when we're doing our marketing is to tout this as an exclusive experience. And it really is. There's not another trail that offers gamification and incentivized prizes like this in Virginia for wineries. So that was something those articles that hit in 2021 were really covering and touting, and it still remains true. Also, our wineries that are offering discounts and promotional codes, they're codes that you can't get anywhere else really. And so people are getting free tastings, or they're getting an upgraded tasting, a free sip of a winning wine, and those types of things. And the way that the wineries have phrased their offers has been really strategic and helped to promote this trail as an exclusive experience, even though it is free. And that has been really beneficial to us. So we've also partnered with a lot of local organizations that have things to do, newsletters, or are popular on social media talking about how to get out and enjoy the area. So a lot of that is done in state. But with our out-of-state marketing, we're also promoting that you can just use this trail for the weekend and still see benefits, which I'll jump into that more in just a second. But something else that we've done is we really encourage the wineries to promote this as well. So they get a whole folder of digital materials, kind of like the ones that you're seeing on this slide, plus video clips of the app being used. And then they also get printed posters in their tasting room. And we try to track with that the QR codes to see how people are signing up and where they're finding it, because we do get a lot of new users from using it in the tasting rooms because they're already in the zone, and obviously a Virginia wine fan if they're visiting a winery. As I mentioned on one of the earlier slides, that this using Bandwango really has given us an option to kind of connect our marketing campaigns throughout the year. So we use Bandwango's text messaging option quite a bit to send messages out to pass holders, and we connect them to other campaigns that are going on throughout the year. So we usually have some sort of seasonal initiative going on. For us, fall is really a big time of year. We have Virginia Wine Month every October. And so all of our pass holders get text messages reminding them it's Virginia Wine Month. Go use the trail, check in. Last year, we did a pop-up prize for anyone that checked in a certain number of times during that month. So we found it's a really great way to re-engage and get these people paying attention. Something new we're going to try this year is implementing monthly raffles. Bandwango has updated their pricing a little bit, which Erin can probably speak to better, but we are offering, before, if someone checked in 5 times, they would just automatically received a Virginia Wine hat. Now they will get points each time they check in, and they can opt to either redeem it for a hat, save it for a different prize, or enter these monthly raffles. And so our goal with these raffles is that each month it connects to something else that we're doing. So whether it's Virginia Wine Month in October, we have a cider week as well. So the raffle during cider week will be to get a gift card to the winning cidery, for example. We're doing things like that align, so people are seeing these messages throughout the year while they're engaging with the trail. And like I said, it's kind of been invaluable to our marketing to tie everything into one place and hit these consumers that are very engaged and interested in Virginia wine. Like I said, we just relaunched 2 weeks ago. So a couple other things that we're excited about this year to try. We've enabled on our pass this year that you can check in multiple times at wineries. We found last year, especially, that once people hit the highest threshold for our top prize, which was, I think, 25 check-ins, they kind of stopped using the trail. They had reached its full potential. And so this year, with unlimited check-ins and unlimited points potentially, we're hoping that they will continue to use the trail all year long. So I'm really excited to track that and see how that keeps people coming back to visit. And that really allows us, when I said that we share these stats with individual wineries, people kind of have unlimited chances to visit these wineries. And so I'm excited to hopefully share that check-ins are much higher this year with that feature. Similarly as well, we're now offering points for redeeming and offer coupon codes. So not only can you get a point for checking in, but you can also get additional points by using some type of offer. And that's incentivized both our wineries to offer some form of a discount or promotion, because they have then the potential to be listed at a higher point value. But it also is encouraging our participants to create a purchase of some sort, whether it's redeeming that coupon or just paying more attention to the winery's offering. We're really excited because it's incentivizing both sides to engage. So that was a really quick overview of how we're marketing the trail. Hopefully we'll answer some more questions, but if you guys are interested in looking at the trail, it's on our website at that link, or you can feel free to email me. Like I said, this has really been invaluable to us to building interest in the Governor's Cup competition and expanding awareness of Virginia wine.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I just want to highlight that Anna really touched on a lot of opportunities with the platform that maybe some of our other partners are not utilizing in their first year, but as they've expanded into their third year of this pass, they keep adding different and more platform utilization, and it really is changing the outcome. And these pass refreshes are so important, and we'll touch on that after Adam presents as well, because he's going through his pass refresh right now. So Adam, I'm going to pass it over to you now, so we can hear about the Nebraska Beef Passport.
All right, thanks, Erin. Just like Anna, I mean, a lot of similarities between what we're doing here in Nebraska with our beef passport. We started this thing, well, I guess a quick little background on the Beef Council. So we are a commodity group essentially, and our goal is to increase demand for beef in Nebraska and across the country. And so in 2020, we were, a lot of restaurants in our state were kind of struggling after coming out of COVID. And so we're trying to come up with some opportunity for them to really not only bolster what they've got going on at their restaurant, but then just highlight, one of the greatest assets that we have here in the state of Nebraska, which is beef. And so we decided to launch this beef passport program, and very similar to the wine, it's just an incentive program for people to go out, visit participating restaurant locations across the state, order their favorite beef menu item, and then collect points to win prizes. So, we had really great success. And when we first launched this program, we did not have Bandwango. And so we did it all with printed passports. And as everybody knows, the cost of printing and the cost of postage especially really hit us hard. And so the very first year, which is a good problem to have, we had like almost 20,000 passports that we printed and shipped out. And as you can imagine, the budget quickly went out the window, and we had to figure out a way to make this program work. And so fortunately, we were able to partner up with Bandwango. And this year being our third year, we're hopefully going to phase out the printed passports altogether. And it just makes things a lot easier to have it all on one platform. I'll just kind of go through, here's what the pass looks like. Last year we had 1,600 digital passport users, over 2,300 digital passwords or stamps is what we were calling them at the time, were collected. The really cool thing about it is that we knew that we had more people using this pass than were actually redeeming for the prizes. So it was kind of a learning curve for us to know that it really wasn't the prize incentives. A lot of people were using this as just kind of a map to go find those hidden gems across the state that are really fun restaurants to go to and have really great beef. And so that was, again, a learning for us, is that we had a lot of people participate that didn't actually redeem their passports for prizes. But with that said, there are certainly people that do participate for the prizes. So we made sure to keep that forefront there. one thing that was really interesting is that this was a statewide program, but we had over 300 different communities represented. So people from 300 different communities across the state. We also had about 20 states involved. And funny enough, when we had people that were ordering passports from out of state, I would actually call them and say, hey, do you realize this is in Nebraska, right? You're in Michigan. Why am I sending it? But what we found is that people were coming to the state maybe over the summer for vacation or visit family, and they just wanted to find some places to go. So it was again, another learning for us that this passport really branched outside of the state, and it was just something fun that people enjoyed doing while they were here in Nebraska. So one of the major things I think when you launch a program like this is the promotion around it and how you advertise it and promote it. The very first year that we did it, we had a partnership with the governor where he proclaims May as Beef Month in Nebraska. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, every month is Beef Month in Nebraska, but especially in May. And so the governor does a proclamation. And that first year, we had him take his passport and get the very first stamp. And as you can imagine, anytime the governor does something, there's a certain amount of press that comes along with it. And fortunately, the press covered the passport and his involvement there. That was really what spring-loaded us into having all the requests for passes and almost being overwhelmed by the response. So if there's one thing I would suggest is that if you do have some kind of event that you can tie your pass to that gets a lot of publicity already, I think it's always a great idea, and it's a really good way to get started. Then you can see on the screen there, I did a media tour. So I would visit with some morning show TV personalities, and we talk about the passport. We had a little TV spot that we would run. We also used that on the digital side of things. And then we also, of course, used our social media platforms to really push it out. So this program really allowed us to, I guess, communicate and form a relationship with consumers where typically, because of the way our organization is structured, we don't necessarily always get that direct-to-consumer tie. And so this was really fun for us and a great way for people to realize what the Beef Council is and what we're doing, and just encourage them to go out and have some more beef meals. Here are the restaurant kits that we would send out. These are a few of the things that we'd include in there. So every one of the participating locations, I think last year we had 44 restaurants participate. They would get a kit in the mail, and it would have things like posters, table tents. You can see there's a window cling there. They'd also formally, they would get a package of blank passports. This year, we're going to give them some rack cards, have little QR codes so that people can get their passes on their phones from the restaurant, but just providing them with a little kit that they can use to help promote it for us. Because as Anna said, I think that some of the best promotion happens from the locations that are being featured. And so we ask each one of them to do that for us, and they did a really nice job. And it was really great to see that people, when they would visit, sometimes that's how they heard about the passport, is they showed up to a restaurant, they saw the poster or a table tent, and that's what prompted them to get involved. So we're really appreciative of the restaurants that were willing to put those promotional materials out there to help us out. And then, of course, the prizes are always, like I said, they're important to some people. This last year, our grand prize was $250 in fresh beef. And so there was a lot of people that really found that to be a good incentive. Then we had a tier structure set up, just like Anna said. If you get 5 check-ins, you're eligible for one prize. If you got 10, you'll do another. This year with the new platform, again, just like Anna said, we're going towards that point system, which I think is going to be really a lot easier for consumers to keep track of. And I think they're going to enjoy the flexibility of that structure as well. So we're going to still offer things like this flexible cutting mat and cookbooks and just little prizes that people can win along the way, as well as their ability to enter in for the grand prize for that fresh beef. So, and then one other thing that we added last year, which was sort of out of necessity, we had a surprising number of people that found it to be the challenge to go to every single location across the state. And so we created what we're calling the Nebraska Beef Passport Hall of Fame. And just we send somebody a t-shirt and we put their name on our website, and they get really excited about that. So just our way to thank those that go above and beyond going out and trying beef all the way across the state. And then, like I said before, the consumer engagement has been just a really great aspect of this program that we normally don't get with the type of promotion that we do. We have over 1,300 Facebook followers, people that are engaging on our Beef Passport Facebook page, sharing photos and sharing their experiences. And it's been really fun to see people doing that. We also utilize that platform to give additional prizes. So we would incentivize people for posting their pictures. So, if it's go get a check-in and post it to our Facebook page, and you could be eligible to win, a koozie or something for that month. And so, again, we got some really great engagement out of that. It was just really cool to see people out there. And then from our restaurant's perspective, they enjoyed that extra promotion as well. And it was our way to highlight those restaurants through our social media platforms. So again, really fun and a really great way for us to interact with all those consumers. And so that's all I have. I think my main thing was just that we're really appreciative of Bandwango to bring that concept into play, where we could kind of move away from the cost and of the printed passports, but more than the cost even was the labor that was involved with printed passports. As we get those in, somebody's having to do data entry. Our boardroom was just cluttered with passports, both being shipped out and returned back in. It also it was easier for the consumer. So, consumers aren't having to fill out forms and put stamps in envelopes and ship stuff back to us. It just all is now together in one platform that's easy to interact with, and the results are fed right back to us. I can pull reports very easily and then share them back to our stakeholders as well, showing them how this investment's paying off as far as driving beef to. So with that, like I said, I'm always open to any questions and be happy to help out any way I can.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you both. One thing I really wanted to highlight with both of these passes was the fact that the prizes are just incredible. So, Anna, do you want to share? I know that you have an apron available. Do you want to share what other prizes are available with your pass?
Sure. So the first year we did the pass, we did the prize fulfillment kind of in-house, and we were sending out tumblers and those types of things. But last year we actually switched so that we're using Bandwango's fulfillment services, and that's been a huge lift on us too. As Adam was speaking, these can be labor intensive to do these passes, and so that was a huge lift on our end. And so we picked some prizes from the Printful website, which is who Bandwango partners with, and they ship directly. So last year we had hats was our first prize. The second prize was an apron that had a custom Virginia wine kind of food and pairing embroidery piece at the top. It's very fun. And then the top prize was an art print, which was a piece that we had designed, and it's framed and mailed out. This year we've added in some sweatshirts and a puzzle and other things, and they all feel appropriate to the wine consumer while not being they're all very high quality, which I think is something that we've gotten a lot of good feedback on, that you need a lot of points perhaps to get them, but they're very high quality and something that people are going to keep. So we've avoided some of the cheaper like throwaway prizes and kind of instead pushing people to do a lot of check-ins. And as Adam said, we have kind of those overachievers too that really are trying to hit every stop, and they don't seem to have a problem hitting those higher numbers.
And with the Hall of Fame that's Adam has put forward with Nebraska Beef, we have seen those be really successful. So the Kansas City, Kansas Taco Trail is one of Bandwango's babies, and they were one of the first, I think, to do that Hall of Fame for who has completed the pass and gone above and beyond. And people love being on websites and getting those prizes and being out and about in front of their communities, sharing that with their families, sharing that on their Facebook pages. So great media coming from that as well. So Adam, I wanted to go back to the governor being involved in this pass. I've always talked about how that's the best influencer we've ever seen with these passes. So how did that connection start? And has it been throughout the years? Was it just that first year? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been really fortunate that we've had governors in Nebraska. In fact, I don't know that you get elected unless you're pro-beef in Nebraska, but they've been very supportive of the beef industry here. And so year after year, one of the things that they've always done is made that proclamation of Beef Month. And so we just thought, hey, let's take it that step further and see if he'd be willing to promote or talk about the beef passport and encourage consumers to get involved with it. And of course, he was super excited for it. We have a great photo of him getting his first stamp, and like I said, the publicity part that was just tied to that press conference really helped springboard us. So I'm hoping that we can continue to do that. We did get a hog farmer elected this year, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I think he's still pro beef and he'll still help us out with promoting the passport.
Awesome. Perfect. I am going to go through my Q&A. Again, everyone that's listening, please feel free to put into the chat and Q&A. We always love to have your guys' involvement with these questions, but I'll get us started here. What challenges have you faced with creating these passport programs? Whoever wants to go first can go.
I think for us, just getting started, it was a little bit of a challenge to know what the participation will be. And I think, Adam, you made the comment on budget going out the window and knowing about your prizes. And so it was a challenge, but we just kind of rolled with it. We figured it out as we went, and it was a nice problem to have. And so, like I said, the first year we did the prize fulfillment ourselves. And so we kind of over-ordered on some things and under-ordered on others. And so working with your fulfillment center, it's on-demand printing at least, which was very helpful there. Otherwise, I think just knowing those logistics and learning has been a big piece for us. And just knowing that we didn't know exactly what participation would look like, but it exceeded our expectations. And then, as you said, we're going on to year 3. So we've kind of learned and adapted each year.
Yeah, I would echo that, and just that you learn about your consumer base a little bit, and what's an incentive for them and how they best communicate. I think Anna mentioned they use text, and we use the email platform through Bandwango quite a bit, and that seems to work really well. And I will say, after doing it the first year or two, we were able to capture once you've captured those consumers' email addresses, it makes the promotion back to them that much easier. Then you can also target them on social media, and it all just kind of keeps building. So really just getting started and getting through that first year is probably the biggest challenge. And after that, it's just then it's just building from there.
Yeah, awesome. Kylie asked, can you have too many participating restaurants? If so, how do you go about managing that? So I will say, from the Bandwango perspective, we set the limit at 250 participating businesses on a pass. So can't go over that 250 mark. What I will say is getting even that high is super overwhelming, and creating those partnerships and making sure everyone is included and the offers that are on there are correct. I would just make sure that that is set forth, that that can be an overwhelming number if we get that high. Adam and Anna, going off of that, how did you all go about managing the wineries and the restaurants that were included in this? Did you all reach out to them? Did you use Bandwango's reach out? How did that work?
From our perspective, we went ahead and did the onboarding, and because it had to do with that competition, we were already talking to all of these wineries anyways, and so we just built there. But thinking about having more participants, we're currently thinking about what future passes could look like for us and building our experiences. And so we're thinking through too how to keep it at a good number and not getting too high, but then still equitably picking wineries. So we're looking at different themes and topics to do that. But we have handled all onboarding, but it's because we have the contacts.
Yeah, I would say we're probably a combination. So we would do the initial reach, and then Bandwango did the onboarding from there for us. And I would just say that from our standpoint, the way we're structured, because we do send out promotional kits and things, every time, the more participants we have, the cost for us continues to go up. Yeah. But also, I think that by limiting the number you have, it does bring that exclusivity to your program. And so we actually have restaurants now who apply to be on the passport because they want to be on, and we can't take everybody. So I think you keep it manageable from your own cost perspective, but you also make it so that it's it's special to be on the pass.
Yeah. And you always want it to be feasible for the consumer as well. If they get a pass and there's 250 restaurants on there, it's a little bit overwhelming at that point, we do have the availability to create filtering or different options for how the pass is laid out if you do get up there with the amount of businesses on the pass, but always keeping the consumer in mind as well. So Emily, is Bandwango a monthly subscription or per event/passport? It is a yearly subscription fee. We do have different options and our pricing is flexible. So I definitely encourage you to reach out to me or reach out to our sales team and we can get you in touch with what that pricing looks like there. So in regards to collateral pieces, so both of you use collateral, whether it be in the winery tasting rooms, Adam, as you mentioned, sending out those toolkits. Do you all design that? Or do you use our design services? How does that work for you all?
Yeah, we actually used Bandwango to help us with the first one. And then this year, we're kind of doing our own, but we're also utilizing some just content pieces from Bandwango. So a little bit of a combination there, but yeah, certainly when we did use their design services, it was very smooth and I feel like the designers really got a concept of what we were trying to accomplish and we had a couple of meetings and they just kind of knocked it out for us. So it was pretty simple.
Yeah, we were similar. We did the initial design for our pass ourselves. So we created a logo and kind of branding around this trail since it was for Virginia wine, but also for this Governor's Cup competition, which is an industry piece. So we kind of created new branding for the trail and then Bandwango made our initial mock-ups and designs. And then since then we've been able to just kind of take it in-house and adjust as needed.
Awesome. And in regards to that, for those that aren't super familiar with our contracts and what that looks like, we do have a design services add-on. The marketing teams works really closely with designers to make sure that the collateral that's set out is what we think is successful and what has been proven to be successful with these passports. So making sure the QR code is on there and trackable, making sure that the pass description is not too lengthy, not too many words, just set up that as something that we hope consumers would see, sign up for, and check in at that location. So really, really happy that both of you are using that collateral. We see it be super successful there. So Jason said, how do you handle multiple check-ins at the same restaurant or in this case, winery, Anna? I can touch base from the Bandwango perspective, but do you want to talk about how it works for you all?
Sure, I can jump in. This is the first year we're trying it, so I don't have a ton of insight, but one thing that we do on our pass is we check in with geolocation. So you have two options when you start your pass. It can be a PIN code that the restaurant or the winery would provide, and then the other option is geolocation. We've opted for that just because training all of these wineries, it's a quick turnaround for us from competition results. And so right now we have it set up that you have to be in a 0.25 mile radius of the winery to check in. Obviously you could have some people checking in without physically being there, but that risk was worth it to us to not to have to do the onboarding of all of these tasting room staffs. But to handle that for monthly check-in, multiple check-ins, we're limiting it to one time a month at the wineries, just so that in case someone's nearby or driving around the state to get their check-ins, they are limited to once a month. But otherwise, the wineries don't have to do much. It's up to them to engage and talk about the pass if they would like to.
And jumping off of that, so handling multiple check-ins, we can set that up in the back end that people can check in either once a day or once a week or once a month. We can really be flexible with that. Of course, once a month is great for, you don't want them to just keep checking in at the same place over and over and over and cheating the system there. So I think Anna has this set up correctly in her use case, that once a month. And really, we don't see people cheating the system in regards to, especially at wineries, you know, if you're within that 0.25 of that geolocation, you're probably visiting, you're probably drinking that wine. So definitely love that and love that we're trying that this year. So Adam, how do check-ins work for you all? Do you use PIN or geolocation?
Yeah, so we use the PIN, and I'm actually I'm gonna take Anna's suggestion here. I think we're gonna probably switch to a once per month. So allow people to go back multiple times, but limit it to once a month. And I think that's a great idea. Just jotting that down. So we'll do that same thing. And just like you said, I don't think you're ever going to eliminate. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out how you can eliminate people from cheating it. And it's just not worth the time to put into doing that. I will tell you, just from going back on the printed passports side of things, we had ink stampers that we would send out, specific ink stampers that we'd send to each location. Of course, you had to send multiple stampers. I mean, we had thousands of dollars literally wrapped up in ink stamps to try to keep it so that it was a legitimate check-in at those locations. And so that's just another example of a cost that we eliminated by moving over to Bandwango.
And that frontline staff, what if they misplace those ink stampers? What goes in the wrong? But in regards to those PIN check-ins, collateral is also really helpful with those. So making sure that either those frontline staff have the collateral in a back room or by the cashier for them, or the cash register for them to see, or if we're not super concerned with cheating the system, they can have it on those table tents out where the consumer can see. So Kylie asked, what's the sweet spot for length of passport? I'll touch on this first. Totally depends on the pass type. So we get a lot of restaurant weeks or restaurant months. Obviously, those passes are just for that duration. For a gamified check-in challenge, both Anna and Adam, these are year-long passes. Is that correct for you all?
Yeah, ours is a 5-month.
5 months. Okay, perfect. So it really depends. What I will say is that we can set the expiration date to whatever you would like. As Anna mentioned, those pass refreshes are super important. So sometimes it's a pain because people are like, oh, we have to go through this process again. Bandwango really helps you through that process. We keep what you want to keep, but it is a time for you to look at how the passport performed, see what consumers were thinking. As Anna said, the first year they saw a ton of signups, but not as much engagement. That second year, not as many signups, but way more engagement. So they collected that first party data that first year. Second year, really seeing that engagement with those wineries. So a great time to sit back, analyze, look at that data, see what you can do better the next time, which both Adam and Anna have done. So that is awesome. All right, Adam, I want to talk more about this printed to digital. So we've said a lot of reasons why you are moving towards this digital. I do want to ask how you're doing it this year. I know that you said it'll still be available, but you're moving away from it. So can you explain that a little bit further?
Yeah. So if you remember back on the slides I had, we actually showcased the printed passport on our poster and on our table tents and our marketing materials. And so moving forward, we're actually going to take that off of there. So we'll only be showing the mobile pass on our collateral. We're also going to be making it somewhat hard to find the printed passport option. So on our website, there'll just be a link and we'll be asking people to print their own passports. So it's just going to be a printable 8.5 by 11 passport that they can print off and take that around. And then we're also going to be allowing some more incentives for people that are using the digital passport. So for instance, if you have a printed passport, you'll only be able to get one check-in per location. But if you have the digital passport, now thanks to Anna, we have one per month that you can have. And so I think that's really going to help us to get people. Now, I think we're hesitant to just pull the paper all the way out right now, mostly because I don't want a bunch of 60-plus-year-olds picketing outside my office. But the biggest thing is just going to be making sure that everybody has the ability to participate if they want to, and then hopefully just slowly working them away from the printed and showing them just how easy it is to have the digital passport. And I think what a lot of people were also excited about was knowing that they weren't installing an app. You know, that was a kind of a big thing, is that people didn't want to have to install another app and go through that process. They saw how simple it really was right from their phone off the web browser to get set up. And once they did that, it was easy sailing from there.
Love that. I love that you brought that up. That is one of our main points, is we don't want to take up storage on people's phone. This is a mobile optimized website. So when someone signs up from that QR code or from that URL, that landing page, they get sent the link to their pass. It's individually tokenized to their email. So then you can save it to your home screen so that it looks like an app, but it is just a website. So really, really simple and helpful for the user there. Question that just came in: how long does it take for you to relaunch the pass? Anna, do you want to talk about your timelines, and then Adam, you can talk about yours?
Sure. We're kind of in an interesting situation because we go off of our competition results, and then it's very timely to get this pass launched. So Bandwango has been wonderful because we are a very quick turnaround. I'm sure that we're probably a little bit faster than average on that, but we get the results typically the first week of February, and this is the latest we've ever launched it. So we always relaunch kind of in a 3-week window. And so usually we give wineries about a week to send us their materials. Like I said, we do have the benefit that we're already in contact with them, and a lot of them we already have what we need on hand. But it's pretty quick for us.
Adam, how long has your pass refresh taken?
Yeah, so
I should
fortunately,
say.
Fortunately for us, we're only a 5-month pass, so ours ends in September, and then we don't launch again until the next May. If I had a tight turnaround like Anna, I'd probably be drinking a lot of wine myself. But I do think that, I just had a call this morning with my Bandwango team, and we're just putting the pass with updated information in it that's going to be launching, like I said, in May. So, several weeks out, and I'm more nervous than they are, and I know it's going to all come together just fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. I will say too, it's been a huge help for us that you can go in and make adjustments at any point to the digital pass. So since we're not printed and we're not putting it out and kind of having it be permanent, wineries can update their offers. We can change out discount codes and those types of things throughout the year. So our crew's gotten used to kind of adjusting as they need to, but it's quick for us for sure.
Awesome. And I would add to that typically, so pass launches typically take 60 to 90 days. So that's building a pass from scratch. Depending on how much you change with these refreshes, if you're changing a lot of the pass assets, if you're changing a lot of the businesses on the pass, it'll take longer. But if it's not too many changes and really you're just changing some marketing strategies around, not going to take that long for that pass refresh. So it is a pass by pass basis there. But what are some common obstacles do you believe that food and beverage associations may encounter when implementing an experience passport, and how can they be overcome?
I think Anna's looking at me, so I'll go. I think, we talked about a lot of the challenges I think that you're going to have, but surprisingly for me, getting some of these, especially initially getting the restaurants to buy in to say, yeah, I'll participate. We don't have a cost associated with them participating. So sometimes it floors me how hesitant people are to join into a free program, especially when I'm paying all the advertising as well. But getting them to buy in and understand, and I do get it because, food services, it's rough right now. Just with staffing issues and everything else going on. I will share, we had a year last year where we had a couple of restaurants closed permanently midway through. Now again, and Anna mentioned this too, that's the nice thing about Bandwango is that we can go in and change that. We can update that listing or take that listing down, whatever we need to do. Not so easy to do when you've sent out printed passports. So I think just getting the buy-in from the restaurants was the tough part. But with that said, now they're continually asking if they can continue to be featured on our passport.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And we haven't run into the obstacle quite as much because our wineries are kind of automatically included. They also, like Adam said, there's no cost associated, but because they are a gold medal winner, they get included. And so an obstacle we have there, we don't do the PIN sign in for that reason because it is such a quick turnaround on our end. So we do run into some issues of maybe tasting room staff not knowing about the pass and those types of things at the beginning. So just educating and making sure everyone understands. A more logistical challenge for us too has been a lot of these wineries are in very rural areas. So sometimes we run into the geolocation not working. One thing we've been able to do very easily with Bandwango is if their Google Map pin might be at the entrance of the winery, but the winery is for another half mile down that road. So we can adjust the radiuses as needed for each one. But we've also learned how to manually check in consumers if for some reason their self-service isn't working. So I would say just those logistical obstacles are something that you run into, but going into year 3, I feel like we have a good handle on it. And And there's not really anything too serious that jumps to mind. I think you learn and work through a lot of it, kind of like Adam said too. They've figured out what works and changes they needed.
Awesome. Yeah. And as Anna mentioned, she has learned how to go in and manually check people into those locations. We also have a call center that is on all the time, 24/7. So if they have troubles, we are always happy to check people in as well. So awesome. Okay, last question for me. If anyone else has questions that are burning, please put them in the chat now. But how can food and beverage associations collaborate with other businesses or industries to create more diverse and inclusive experience passport offerings? So Adam, I know when we were on our pre-call, you mentioned what a great pairing beef and wine would be for a pass. So anything to add there on businesses or organizations that you all would partner with for a pass possibly in the future?
Yeah, and in fact, over the holidays, we had a partnership with our wine association here in Nebraska. I think we have I don't even know if we have 20 wineries in the state, but so a lot smaller organization, but it was just a natural fit for us. Beef and wine goes so well together, and a lot of things that we could cross promote. I do think that there's opportunities too, if you wanted to, depending on your organization, how you work, but if you wanted to partner up with people on the prizes. There's just a lot of things I think you could do to help where businesses could help promote each other, and it could be beneficial for both. And that might even be one way to help offset some of the costs of running a promotion like this, is to have a partner organization. So I think you kind of have to look around and find other people that are good fits and see how you can work that in together.
Yeah, I would agree and just echo that. I know we are considering kind of paid passes and different ways to work with Bandwango. And so for us, we would be looking at partnering with different retailers and restaurants that support the Virginia wine industry and doing pop-up promotion too. Like I said, your opportunities for messaging with these consumers, whether it's through Bandwango services or if you import them to your email newsletters, I mean, you have lots of touch points with them. So we use our trail as a way to let them know about events or different things that might support other businesses and in our industry as well. So that's something that is very beneficial to getting involved and having different ways to communicate with them and share events or promotions.
Awesome. And if anyone watching has any questions on people partnering with local associations or local organizations to build passes, that's what our whole February webinar was on. So feel free to go jump on our website and take a look at that if you have any questions or need examples of that. But Anna and Adam, I want to thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to add before I close this out here?
I think I'm good.
Awesome.
It's been great to work with you guys. Like I said, it's been a big benefit to our industry for sure.
They're not paid actors. These are real. But, no, I so appreciate you all joining us today. Any questions, again, feel free to email us, reach out with any emails anywhere that you can find us. Reach out with those questions. Next month, we're going to be talking about higher ed. So any colleges that might be interested in Bandwango and working with apps as well. So that'll be next month. Again, this will be available on the website, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you all.